You are staring at a glowing screen. The deadline is looming. You know exactly what you need to do, yet you open another tab. Why do you choose temporary comfort over long-term success? It is easy to call it laziness, but the truth is far stranger. You are not lazy. You are just biologically wired for a world that no longer exists. Think about your ancient ancestors wandering the harsh savannah. They did not have retirement accounts, mortgages, or 5-year career plans. Survival meant finding calories today, avoiding predators today, staying warm today. Tomorrow was a luxury that most humans never saw. If an ancient human found a bush full of sweet berries, they ate them all immediately. Waiting meant a rival tribe or a wild animal might steal the food. Why would your brain evolve to care about a future that might never happen? This ancient survival mechanism is still running in your head right now. Psychologists call it present bias. Behavioral economist George Ainsley spent years studying this exact glitch in human logic. He discovered a phenomenon known as hyperbolic discounting. It sounds complex, but the concept is beautifully simple. Your brain places a massive premium on rewards you can get right this second. A small hit of dopamine now, from scrolling a social feed or eating a sweet snack, feels far more real than a massive reward months away. To your primal brain, that distant future reward is just an illusion. It simply does not compute. But how extreme is this disconnect inside your head? Psychologist Hal Hershfield conducted groundbreaking brain imaging studies to find out. He placed people inside fMRI machines and asked them to think about themselves in the present moment. Specific neural pathways lit up with deep emotional resonance. Then, he asked them to think about a famous celebrity. Different pathways lit up, showing emotional distance. Finally, he asked them to think about their future selves. The results were absolutely terrifying. When you think about the future version of you, your brain uses the exact same pathways it uses to think about a complete stranger. You procrastinate because neurologically, you literally feel like you are doing work for someone else. Why should you suffer and burn energy today just so some stranger in the future can succeed? Your brain refuses to make that sacrifice. This biological disconnect creates a massive behavioral loop that traps you. Researcher Piers Steele spent decades analyzing this exact behavior. He created what is known as the procrastination equation. He found that your brain constantly calculates the value of a task against the delay of its reward. When the payoff is weeks or months away, its value drops to near zero in your ancient mind. It is only when the deadline is just hours away, when the threat of failure becomes an immediate and screaming emergency, that your brain finally pays attention. Suddenly, the threat is in the present. The metaphorical saber-toothed tiger is suddenly in the room with you. Adrenaline floods your system. The raw panic overrides the present bias, and you finally do the work. But living in this relentless cycle of panic and delay is completely destroying your mental health. You are constantly punishing yourself for what is essentially a biological glitch. So how do you trick an ancient brain in a modern digital world? You cannot completely eliminate present bias, but you can absolutely hack it. You have to make the distant future feel like today. Break your massive projects into tiny and immediate tasks that offer instant dopamine hits. Reward yourself right now for doing the smallest amount of work. You must shrink the distance between the effort and the payoff. You also need to introduce yourself to your future self. Visualize the exact relief and happiness that future person will feel when the task is done. Make them familiar. Make them real. Because right now, your brain thinks they are a stranger. You are fighting millions of years of human evolution every time you sit down to work. It is not a character flaw. It is pure biology. Once you understand the invisible mechanics of your own mind, the heavy guilt begins to fade. You can stop fighting your nature and start designing systems that work with it. You are staring at a glowing screen. The deadline is looming. But this time, you know exactly who you are working for.